Brothers, sisters, we are entering a heroic age, and you will be those heroes. Now, what do I mean by heroic age? I mean that we are ascending into an age where we will start to examine ourselves and be able to grasp courage, grasp strength in ways that we have not imagined before. Now, the earth travels in cycles of consciousness. During the Iliad, the ancient Greeks were in a descending heroic age. That's why the warriors were still strong and heroic, but lacking in compassion. Since we are in an ascending heroic age, our compassion will only increase. There has been many instances of heroism in the past thousands of years, but those have all been tied, or nearly all tied, to one particular group. Now, we will start to see humanity as one in the coming age. We will start to see that we all have an interest in each other's welfare, in each other's self-realization. Right now, we are starting to see in first world countries that we have material comfort. We have the material things that we want. And we thought that this would bring us happiness, but has it? It has not brought us happiness. To have a comfortable life, to work a certain amount of hours, and to allow your family to live in relative comfort to many of the people around the world that don't live in first world countries, it is simply not enough. When you ask most people, even in the best neighborhoods of the United States, are you happy? Most people will not say yes, because we have evaluated happiness incorrectly. Happiness has to be evaluated from within. What we have on the outside, what we hoard, or what we even give to other people or our family, simply isn't enough. We have to be something more than how much material we have, or even how much material we give away. We have to realize our true nature. And realizing our true nature is the first step into becoming a hero. Now, there are many ways to be a hero, and heroes of combat and fighting for your country should not be downplayed in any way. That is one way of being a hero. But for most of us, we'll have to take step one, a different way. Combat heroes, they skip this first step most of the time. Getting to know yourself, examining yourself, and getting to the root of your intentions and your desires and your fears. A lot of people do this without even knowing it, but not enough. This first step that is required to enter this heroic age requires every single human being to truly look at themselves. Then once we get there, we start to realize we have a vested interest in all human beings being in a very safe and well taken care of environment. I'm talking about food and allowing somebody to work and not having the fear of being either mugged or killed, or rewarding hard work for what it is. Even if somebody is not in our own country, even if somebody is on the other side of the world and has different religion, different political beliefs than us, we are all connected. Our consciousness is all connected as a united humanity. And we're going to start realizing that more and more. And we're going to start needing for everyone on the earth to be more connected. And the information age, it has been done wondrous things for us. We have access to information that our ancestors never dreamed of. We can connect with people around the world that we've never been able to in the past from such long distances. But even this isn't enough, because the biological technology we are as human beings, deep within our mind, getting to the root of our consciousness, is more than any information that can be shared on the internet. Because there's a wavelength that surrounds the entire world, and we're all tapped in whether we know it or not. And what we think, what every single one of us thinks, has an effect on everyone else, to a small degree, but it does have an effect. And happiness is not prevalent in the United States or in first world countries, or at least not the majority of people's experience, because there are other human beings in pain. This wavelength travels to us, travels into our consciousness from our united subconscious. And we feel this. And we feel our own materialism. And we feel our lack of care for other human beings. And this isolates us. And we feel isolated despite being able to communicate in ways that we never imagined before now. So the first step to becoming heroes, and we are entering a heroic age in which you will be the heroes. The first step is to start to consider those you never considered before as being a part of you, a part of your united group that is humanity. Take heart, rise up, examine yourself, and help other people. Make your own prosperity dependent on everyone else's prosperity. This cannot be forced through government. This cannot be forced through religion or spirituality or society or culture. It has to be a personal choice. Has to be a personal choice. Let me reiterate that. Because like in the Soviet Union, where you try to force these kinds of united consciousness through materialism, through political materialism, it fails. It doesn't work because it has to be a decision that every single human being makes and not forced upon them. Even if there's just one human being left that doesn't believe that doesn't want to join with us in consciousness, that person should still have the right to not do so. Because we cannot sully the freedom of choice. We cannot act as if as human beings we are supposed to fall in line. We have choice, we have sentience for a reason. Because we've gotten to this point. And we deserve to allow others to get to the point that we are at. To have freedom of information, to put people in a place to where they don't have to worry about their basic survival needs and can instead focus on being human with us, not against us. And eventually, if we adopt compassion, the world can be like this. The healthiest way the world can be. A Zen monk once said to a king, the king said, write me a phrase or a koan that I can hang on the wall in my castle that will bring happiness to my family. What the Zen monk wrote was, grandfather dies, son dies, grandson dies. And the king asked him, why are you talking about death? How is this going to bring happiness to my house? And the Zen monk said, this is a natural order of things. If the son dies before the grandfather, there will be sadness. If the grandson dies before the father or the grandfather, then there will be sadness. But if death takes its proper place in its proper order, then humanity can exist in contentment. But what do we see now? We see war, we see pain, we see an obsession with people's ideology to the extent that they will be violent towards those who do not have the same ideology, even between political parties in the United States and in other first world countries. We see that people who do not, many people will become violent because somebody does not agree with them. Because obviously somebody who doesn't agree with them is bad, is no good. In order for our humanity to advance into a higher stage of existence, we have to be willing to listen to one another. We have to be willing to understand that there is no one separate from another. And that war itself is only a last measure. And that violence is a last measure. And even isolating oneself or one's country or one state or one city from others is a last measure. Be one, find yourself, and be human. Thank you very much for watching.